All right. Let's watch real red pill content.
Are women more attracted to nice guys or bad boys?
In my personal experience, the type of women I've encountered, the type of women I like, mostly are attracted to bad guys. Most women like a guy with a little edge, which I can't blame them for that, because you don't want boring shit. You know what I'm saying?
So then why should men care about what women want?
The same reason why, if you're a salesperson, you should care what the customer thinks. That's the most important part of the play. I mean, you want her, so you got to care what she thinks. It's not about, what you want. It's about what you can give her in a relationship.
Why is it more socially acceptable for women to hate men than it is for men to hate women?
Because it sells. Even if you look at the culture of media, things of that nature, it just seems, and then also people have a lot of hurt too, so it's easy to hit people's pain points. It sells.
Why do women complain about toxic masculinity when women enable that behavior by choosing to date bad boys?
Ooh, that's a good question. Some people want what they don't need and need what they want. It's the nature of a human being, man. Nature of the beast.
Should anybody be hating anybody?
I feel like you can reasonably say that there are people that make bad decisions for themselves that feel pressured into doing so, or otherwise that is their best option, and then not everybody's like perfectly rational about their business, right? Like, if we want to go about that shit, then why do men complain about getting divorce raped if they're getting married to women when they make a bunch of money? Just don't marry women. If we want to reduce it down to this, but that reduction is kind of stupid. It's just like these are forehead takes.
No, absolutely not. I feel like the human race, we thrive better when we love each other. Caring.
Spiritually speaking, would you ever want to do a VR chat stream? A VR chat stream? Are you joking? So I can hang out with weebs that whose avatars are just anime girls with big boobs? Fuck that shit. No. Hell no. Absolutely not. No, pay me.
Caring for each other, things like that.
If it's acceptable for women to hate men, how are men and women ever supposed to get together?
We won't. I mean, at the end of the day,
could be
because
anything.
I mean, to be honest, I'm married now.
They're gonna be
but I will
really
say,
cringe shit around me.
Even for friends and things like that, or even the younger generation, there are things as a man
I'm gonna be
warn
chilling
my
as
nephews
Eddie,
about,
scamming people.
in the next generation of what to watch out for when it comes to dating. I also warn women as well, but if I project hatred onto them, I think that it's gonna steer them
Why are you trying
away
to sell
from
this,
even wanting
Lindsay?
to engage with the opposite gender.
As far as equality efforts go, why are we so concerned with masculinity when we should be concerned about misandry?
Because masculinity is defined by women. It's been defined by women in their servitude by men. And we have to, it's like an ego thing, but we're forgetting about the very premise.
Because I want my streamer friends to play with me someday.
We are fighting
it's my
for. If
personality
we're
now.
fighting for equality and equal justice for
great.
all, we need to have the foundation of equal justice as the very premise before masculinity. And because if we're fighting for men's equality, there's guys that aren't masculine. Are they supposed to be second class to others? Whether we're masculine or we're not, men have to have equality, equal rights to women. And masculinity comes second. And who's to define masculinity? Well, let men define their own masculinity. Let men develop in their own right, not anyone else's.
Are women
True.
equally shamed into feminine roles as men are shamed into masculine roles?
They used to be, but not anymore. They can be whatever they want.
Not in today's age. Before, yeah, like a woman was expected to be softer, things of that nature. But if a woman is also deciding to be like, you know what,
I think the real answer to this is interpersonally, yes. And when it comes to large social shit, no. Large social shit, it seems like no matter where you go, it's like women can be whatever the fuck you want to be. But interpersonally, that isn't the case. Whereas for men, it seems like interpersonally and socially, like socially broadly speaking, they're either not going to talk about your issues literally at all, but if they do, then they're going to tell you to pick a very specific spot. So it's pretty much it's radio silence for men, or interpersonally, it's like you gotta do the manly duties or whatever. So, I mean, women and men still have the interpersonal, like, you fall into this, but women do, by and large, get, like, for instance, look at, like, plus-size acceptance. You won't find a single man of plus-size acceptance. It's not like plus-size people don't include men. I think there isn't a man who weighs, I don't know, 500, 400 pounds or some shit like that has a tough time finding a t-shirt. Shit definitely happens, but it doesn't really matter because it's not really that big of a deal because people don't talk about it.
Or masculine, or I want to be a stud, things of that nature. She's still going to be praised and loved regardless. I feel like but those same standards of men, like even like the double standards of gay men versus gay women,
traditional.
It's easier to. And I learned this from having gay friends, gay relatives, things of that nature.
Fenty underwear campaign.
It's easy.
What the fuck? I don't even know what that is.
Easier to accept two women kissing and showing affection out in public or in movies and things of that nature versus men doing the same thing. So I feel like it gives women the upper hand in that sense.
Wouldn't that equate modern misandry to feminism and traditional misandry to chivalry?
Yes.
Why was manhood always defined as a servitude to women?
Because men are, as a masculine trait, men are typically known to be protectors. We're automatically raised that way.
I think to categorize it as servitude is a bit cringe, because really what it was in certain ways, the man serves the woman, i.e. giving them money, giving them like their resources and shit like this. That's the servitude, really. Is that they give them the resources, and then in most other ways, the man is supposed to be the leader of the household and the leader of the unit, right? And that the woman has to be obedient to him. So servitude is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that dynamic.
As children, and then also even as children, we typically show those traits of. I grew up with a single mother. I was always a protector. Even when I would see guys staring at my mother, it was just in me. But if I was afraid, I feel like I would be insulted in a way, like not from family, but just in general of society.
Do you think that idea of men being protectors and providers, is that a social construct or is that biological?
It's both. It's the reason why it's biological because my wife's 5'3", I'm 6'1". Obviously, she's. Just because of the role I decided to play, I am going to step in front, but she would look at me if I just didn't decide to, or if I didn't feel like I was strong enough, she would look at me different if I didn't decide to be the protector. Also, if onlookers, if a man decided or a woman decided to attack my wife, they would look at me different just because I didn't intervene, even if she was a stranger. Right. So we are expected to do so.
What does it mean when somebody says that's a man's job?
Taking out the trash. Yeah, that's a man's job. I hate taking out the trash. If I gotta touch a trash can, you're here. What are you doing?
Gas. I can still do it, but like if it's super cold and my boyfriend is with me,
like why wouldn't
he
you want to do it?
He should be the one getting out of the car doing it.
Definitely.
What's a woman's job?
Cooking, cleaning, like the older days.
I'm not taking out the trash. I'm not fixing the car. I'm not doing the dirty work. Yeah, that's a man's job. I'm not doing that.
That usually is a woman saying, well, I don't want that job. It's below me, like sewer workers or certain jobs like plumber. Or that's what it means. That's a man's job. Or if there's a distasteful task like taking out the garbage. That's a lower status person that needs to do those things. That's what that means.
So would it be any wonder why men and women don't earn the same?
It is an example of what women complain about in the reverse, that shows women don't choose jobs that pay more if they're distasteful or if they require more work to do. And that's there is no gender pay gap. It's just that women.
I think that this is an inaccurate way of looking at it. I don't think that it's just that it's more difficult work and therefore they won't do it. But not, I mean, if you're going to have a nuanced side of it, you should have like a nuanced, holistic look at it. It's that you aren't really viewed as very much of a woman if you're like somebody in the sewers. It's not a very womanly thing to do, even from like a man's perspective. Men, there is at the very least a feeling. I'm not too sure how much this correlates with the specific jobs, but there is at the very least a feeling that there are plenty of women that do not feel feminine or do not feel like women if they do like electrician jobs, plumber jobs, sewage jobs, and shit like this. They don't feel like women, and there's a perception that they wouldn't be, socially speaking, at least. Ass meets grass. I don't know if a man would actually give a fuck, honestly. But you know, some men might think it's cool. I imagine there's some men that care. But yeah, I think that's where that comes from. Not just like they're too lazy to do it, but because there is like socially seen as men and women jobs and shit. Shit sucks. Yeah, the coal mine.
And choose careers, and
I think the coal mine's unique though, because I think in the coal mine it's seen as like women are not. In that respect, I think women are seen as not tough enough to do it. It's like firefighting and shit. Women are seen as not tough enough to do the job.
To get the degrees, it will land them jobs, if they're lucky, that aren't as valuable as those occupied by men.
Women are
Or
not
construction
on the
work,
top.
yeah.
They're not going to be presidents. They're not going to be CEOs of things. And I think barely, like, women are starting to get recognition of the fact that they are bosses and that they are, like,
powerful people.
Because
Because we're all humans at the end of the day, no matter what we are.
Oof.
now you're seeing more
That's deep.
CEO women.
Yeah.
Like, it's being more acceptable into now.
Why are women more concerned with the ratio of male to female CEOs as opposed to the ratio of lower paid, dangerous, dirty jobs done mostly by men?
Because women are smarter than men.
We live in a world of women empowerment. It was a time where women didn't have a voice, and they want their voice, and they're demanding their respect. And I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot more women graduate than men, and I kind of feel them on that. You know, women outnumber men 7-1 to 10-1 by the time they graduate high school, and that's a fact. No matter the race, religion.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I'd have to fact check that, but I'm willing to bet that's not true.
Or ritual, those are facts.
Why do you think so many people...
7-1, 8-1, meaning that if 1 million men graduate, 7 million women do? Like, I'm pretty sure the rates are like not that far.
keep pushing
Disparity.
the idea of a gender
high
pay
school. High school is what he said. Yeah.
gap when it's been debunked.
Maybe
as a
in like
myth
certain other countries.
countless times.
There's no reason for it other than distraction and trying to regurgitate things from the past that
I know women graduate
aren't issues.
More. Women had a higher status completion rate than men. This is in high school of 94.3% compared to 91.6% for men. So the deviation is 2.7%.
So we can get
Out of a 90%, which is like, I mean, it's literally like It's 94 to.
It's
not nearly the rate. It's incredibly close. Yeah, it's not
still,
even near that. I don't know what the 2-1 or 2 whatever rate that would be. It would be like 1.04 to 1 or something,
keep
or
on
1.2 to 1.
Keep attached to that victimhood narrative, and
1.08 to
otherwise they won't have anything else. There's nothing else, so they have to hold on to something, even if it's completely
I think
debunked
college
and
is
illegit.
the big one.
What is the definition of misogyny?
The hate of women.
What is the definition of misandry?
The hate of men.
Why have more people heard of...
See, yeah, for college, it's a little bit more stark, not a lot more. 74 men per 100 women. So we're 25% behind, more or less, right? It's from 2018 to 2019, and to my knowledge, over the past 3 years, it's gotten worse. So, yeah.
Misogyny than misandry.
That's because nobody gives a crap about men. They're lower than women, so it's okay to hate men because they don't have a value. They don't have a personal value applied to their
bachelor's
existence.
degrees.
Their existence,
There's general
again,
bachelor's.
like I mentioned
all
earlier,
of the people that get bachelor's
is to merely
degrees.
serve women as their value.
Do you think that misandry is as socially dangerous as misogyny?
No, because I think men still hold a status, like a social status, and like have social capital in the world that misogyny like actually affects like women in the workplace, you know? And the other hand, like there's not that many women in high-powered jobs, so misandry is just like a little thing like when your girls are having a kiki. Like it doesn't actually affect real world like important things like money.
Why do people think that all men are still controlling the world just because there are a few men at the top of the food chain?
Wage gap.
You covered the Amazon panel.
Glass ceiling.
I missed it.
Glass ceiling.
Yes, I
like, it's evidence there. Like, why are women still getting paid less? Like on average,
and
than
it was
the women
thanks
in
to
the year
you.
2022.
It was
like,
your perspective
that doesn't make any
saved the
sort of
stream.
sense. No sense at all.
I don't think anyone should be hated in general.
Yeah.
Neither gender should be hated.
We're all
treated
here.
equal.
Yeah.
We're all humans.
Like, I don't see
We all
color,
live on this
I don't
planet.
see gender.
Dude, you're like 20 something. I don't know how old this person is. 20, 30 something. I don't know how old you are. And you still say, I don't see color. And you're in Vegas. Like it's not like you're in like Wyoming.
We are all here to be connected. We're all here for a reason.
Okay. And lastly, feminism claims to be about equality but is often confused with man-hating. How can feminists repair this misconception?
That's a good question.
It is man-hating. There is no, and there has been no efforts by feminism to include men and consider men, even if it's a compromise that's necessary for women to make some lowering of their status. It's because it's all about women and escalating their value at men's expense.
Fight for men as much as you fight for women, because there are a lot of men that are at the bottom. Majority of men are. Most homeless people that I see are men. I haven't done any studies on this, so this is my own speculation from my own personal experience. But most homeless people that I see are men. Most people that are locked up are typically men. And
that is true.
And honestly, majority of the women that I know, I make a decent income, I make a decent living. Most women that I know make more than me. So.
Can you name something that feminists have done fighting for men?
Not off the top of hand. I'm pretty sure I could Google it, but not off the top of hand.
They can repair it just by saying a positive person. Like, just don't talk negative at all. Just stay in a positive state. Don't talk negative about anybody.
Negative to say about anyone.
That's just basically all you got to do. Yeah.
Is it possible to be pro-men without being anti-woman?
Of course. Just because I don't hate men doesn't mean I hate women.
it's all about love and vibes, and you got to spread fucking positivity.
Love
and at the end of the day, if you're fucking hating on people because they're a fucking female, a male, a fucking interracial fucking couple, a fucking what?
I feel like this person's about to say something. I don't like the terms that they're using. I feel like they're about to say something that shouldn't be said. I do not like where this person's going with it.
Transgender, no matter what the fuck you are, if you're not loving people based on people, then go fuck yourself at the end of the day.
Should our respect for people be based on their humanity or their behavior?
A little bit of both.
Would you agree that it should be
That's
on
the
their
right
humanity until their behavior proves otherwise?
Definitely, because people are not what they say, they're what they do.
Kind of. I think there is a base level that you would give most human until the behavior, and with the behavior it could go up or down, if that's what he means.
Why do so many people think they just deserve respect based on their identity regardless of their behavior?
Narcissists.
So isn't respect something that's earned?
For the most part, yeah. Just humanly on a respectful level. You were supposed to respect all humans, but you know, if you don't respect yourself, then you just kind of took away all your respect.
Is there a difference between not respecting somebody versus disrespecting somebody?
There's definitely a difference.
What is the difference?
Well, when you disrespect someone, when you go out your way to diminish their character or deface them in any way, form, or fashion. When you don't respect somebody, I could say, hey, I don't respect that guy, but I'm not going to go up and call him out of his name. You know what I'm saying?
So isn't one passive and neutral while the other is hateful?
Yeah. To go out of your way to disrespect somebody, that's pretty hateful. That's pretty hateful.
If society was controlled by men, aka patriarchy, how would feminism be a movement that's gained traction without the help of men?
It wouldn't, and feminism is based on chivalry, traditional misandry.
I mean, there is like 50% of the population aren't men, so even if men rule society, like, you can't really stop 50% of the population from having an opinion. So,
or that they wouldn't, feminists wouldn't have a foundation, and the fact that women get their way and men have been groomed from boyhood to serve women, then that's why feminism has been so successful. That very basic premise of valuing men in their own right for their own existence needs to happen from boyhood.
All right, here's the last question, and this is a controversial one, okay?
Okay.
But give me good answers. You're a smart guy. Okay, if there was some unwritten law that black people had to open the door or give up their seat, would that be considered race bigotry?
I definitely feel that it is prejudice.
Well, is it bigotry?
It's definitely bigotry.
Okay, so it's race bigotry is what I would say, okay?
Yeah, race bigotry,
okay,
definitely.
That's why I asked it that way, okay?
Yes, sir.
So why is it when the same unwritten law is applied to men, it's not considered sex bigotry?
I mean, it would.
Ooh. Damn.
Well, it would by our standards.
Could it be that men are of lower value and status to
But I feel like also the pulling out the chair and shit like that for black people is definitely invoking a specific history of black people that isn't necessarily shared in the man example.
men as blacks were once considered?
That men are a lower value than women nowadays?
A lower status.
Lower status?
Yeah.
Ooh, brother, you hitting it on it. I'm gonna say this. I don't know how to answer that. I'm gonna answer it though. I feel like that's a matter of perception. And I say that because not everybody is bred the same. Not everybody's sociopathic or narcissistic. So based off the masses, we just live in a crazy world that is ran by men like that, you know. And then you got women out here who feel like that their men are lesser, and then you got the vice versa. It's just a crazy world we live in. My personal opinion, I think everybody is equal.
Oh shit, I didn't see, Zonia, that you subbed. Thank you.
And everybody deserves a equal opportunity to be great.
Finally, if people are pushing for anti-racism, why are they not pushing for anti-sexism?
They should be.
I agree with you, they should be.
They should be.
But are they?
They're not, because sex sells. And that's just the world we live in.
You don't think that's a response to that?